Welcome to At Home with the Johnsons. With me, Lisa.
And me, Sam.
We're going to be discussing a load of different issues about having a multi-seven-figure business and what life is like. So we'll be talking life and we'll be talking a bit of business. But we'll also be talking some controversial topics, but we want you to get involved too.
Because we do love a debate.
We love a debate.
And if you want to get involved in the debate, you can join us on our Facebook group At Home with the Johnsons.
So today's more of a fun one, so you'll like it more.
I will like it more. No controversy.
No.
Controversy.
But next week,
what do you say?
One. Controversy.
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 Some people say controversy.
Now. It's gone.
Anyway, yeah. It's a fun one. Good.
We're going to talk about, mainly in aid of you.
When you say what it is now, that's going to sound really harsh, and I hope people really stick up for me.
It's about getting older.
Oh, well, you said older, not old, so that makes it a bit better.
It's your birthday in a couple of days.
It is, yeah.
And
I don't like to go on about it.
No, but with you being 55, we found that they put these leaflets through the door.
Oh, yeah.
And it said that you're allowed to go into the retirement home.
It's not a retirement home. It's top-level sheltered accommodation.
For people who are old.
Over 55, which did actually blow my mind a bit. So me and my brother-in-law, Jesse, Andy can come. I thought we could have a little gang down there. It'd be great. I think we'd be like the young bucks.
You just think
we'd
it's
do really
be
well.
Like on the Thursday Murder Club.
Oh, imagine how cool that would be.
Like Joyce and Ibrahim and everyone's going to be there.
Oh, my God, that would be my dream. You wouldn't mind that as well, though, would you?
As long as
hanging
I'm
out with
like
them. You're going to be Elizabeth.
Yeah.
I reckon I'm Ron.
Yeah, you are. But yeah, like you can now go into some kind of accommodation for old people.
And the cruises, what they're called, Saga, I think they're over 55 as well, aren't they?
You can get a bus pass.
Not at 55.
Yeah.
Like, for all the times we use buses.
All the times?
I went out on a bus once and you went, what's it like? I said, it's like an Uber, but there's loads of other people on it. That's the only way I could explain it to you.
I'm gonna go
what do you
on
mean?
one day,
What do you mean? You just get on it.
Well, like.
When we first met, I feel this one is loaded with diversions away from the subject. When we first met, you used to get the bus to work sometimes. Do you remember? If you were running late.
I actually did it twice. Can I tell you why I did it twice?
Go on.
Because on the second time, which was the 4th of January, the price had gone up, but I didn't know the price had gone up. And so
Did you have the right coins, little coins to put in the little tray?
Yeah, I didn't know what I was doing. So I got on this bus and gave him the 50p, and he was like, oh, it's £1 now. And I was like, what? When? And he said, over Christmas, I said, I haven't got £1, but I need to get to work. And he was like, well, it's £1. And I was like, I haven't got £1.
Oh.
And he started going off on one. So I started going off on one and telling him that it was a job's worth and that he could
How'd that work out for you?
Okay, because a man at the back of the bus got so annoyed with me holding up the bus that he paid the fare.
It might have been that he just thought you were nice.
No, he did not
I'd have
like
jumped
me.
up and paid you extra 50p. So that was that long ago where they still took money on a bus?
Yeah, that's the last time I've been on a bus.
About 13 years ago, probably.
Or more, yeah. But
anyway.
You get a bus pass now, so you may as well use it all the time.
I don't even know where I would go to get on said bus and where it would take me. Anyway, so yeah, getting older. The thing I wanted to talk about is getting older. There's good stuff and there's bad stuff.
There's only bad stuff.
I disagree, and I will endeavour to prove that I'm right in the next 15 mins or so.
But you're nearer to death. That tropes everything else.
I'm not even walking down the death road.
We're going to do a whole podcast on it one day, and then you're going to.
Yeah, we are. We'll have to do that because that'll be a tough one. But whilst undeniably we are closer to death, that's how time works, right? I feel there are a lot of good things that have come from getting older, and one of those things is wisdom. Now, I'm quite wise.
Oh, yeah.
Well, it does shock me. The other day, someone asked me for advice.
Oh, what?
Well, it's a thing with one of my friends. I don't need to share.
Was it on bands?
Was it on bands? Who's better, the Clash or the Jam?
Was it like that?
No, it wasn't that. Football and bands I've done forever.
What,
but
real life advice?
Like a real life thing, yeah. What should I do? And I was a bit like, hang on a minute. What? Oh, yeah, I'm a grown-up. Honestly, for like a 30 seconds, I was thinking, why are you asking me? Doesn't he know anyone grown up he could ask this to? And then I thought, oh, yeah, that's me now. And it was quite nice to actually...
Did you give advice?
Yeah. I do it quite a lot with the kids.
Oh, dear.
I think it was good advice, and I think I felt quite proud of myself.
Being a grown up at 55.
Yeah, and it has taken a while to feel like a grown up. And a lot of the time, I don't like things like I don't really understand stuff like mortgage rates and
How electricity works.
I think have we talked about that before?
Yeah, I don't understand how anything
No,
like that works.
loads of stuff like that. But I didn't mean that. I mean proper grown up stuff. I think there are some jobs in the world that are grown up jobs. Right?
Name one.
Solicitor, teacher, doctor, pilot. There's 4.
Grown up jobs.
They're proper grown up jobs. What I do is not a grown up job, is it? Even what you do isn't really.
I feel like running a business is a grown up job.
When you're a kid, there are all those jobs where you look at those people and they're like, oh my God, how do you get to be a doctor? You know, or a pilot is mind blowing.
I feel like your head sometimes is still about 12.
Yeah, pilots are like 21 sometimes, and they're flying a plane with 300 people in it. It just blows my mind. So that is a good thing.
That you're wiser.
Yeah, and I think even the least kind of mature and knowledgeable person has to become wiser as they get older because more stuff happens
Well,
to
they've
them.
been through
So you've
stuff.
got more reference points. You've got more things that could relate to what the person is asking you about. It might always be the right advice, but you should have more of a field of reference to delve into.
Here's a good thing
Go on.
for me.
Go on.
Now I'm older. I don't get wolf whistled anymore if I walk past the building.
I'd wolf whistle you, but it's really un-PC, so no one should do that anyway.
But no one does it to someone my age. So actually it's quite good.
I don't know.
I think they do. I think that it's just a known thing that.
Do you not think society changing has had a part in that as well?
Yeah, but I can get away with more. Like I know that I can sit on my own in a bar, and I might not have some creep come over.
Well, I think there's still lots of creeps around who would come over to
20
you.
years ago, there's no way I would be able to do that.
Okay, so that's become a good thing.
Yeah, you can actually go out and be left alone.
I don't think that's. I suppose it is a good thing about getting older. It isn't actually you per se. It's
No,
just
it's just
society.
I think generally you can do more stuff and be left alone. You're not seen as much. People say you become irrelevant. I don't think you become irrelevant. You just get away with more.
What else you got that's good then? Got anything else that's good?
No, because like the things that I don't like about getting old, my body is failing me. And I think that's an age thing. Like menopause for women. I'm going to go into the menopause at some point. That looks horrible. Everyone's talking about it. I don't want it. I'm going to just stick all those patches on and stuff. Doesn't look good. There seems to be lots of bad.
I'll tell you what, and this is a fact, for a bloke getting older, there's a lot less judgment. Like if you look at like TV presenters, you can be a bloke presenting on TV in your 60s.
Yeah,
You
don't see
get that
with
old,
women.
silver hair thing going on and a bit wrinkly, and they don't mind that. But usually next to these blokes is a woman in her 30s.
Yeah, that's the problem. Also, things change I always say this to you and you always laugh at me, but I now can see why I would have a facelift.
I don't.
Whereas when I was a bit younger, look, right, watch. This is how my face is now.
Okay, don't do the
Right.
pull back the eyes thing.
Right, this is what I want. I want it to go from there just to there.
And you seem to think that's a
Just to
good
there,
thing.
Just to there.
You end up looking like, who can we say, will we get in trouble?
No, I don't want one where
You
I
don't want to look
all
like
weird cat eyes.
Tulisa or Amanda Holden or someone.
I like how they look.
See, I think you've been sucked along in the
Societal norms.
Yeah, and what's become so historically, I like my history, right? So now people like to have a fake tan.
Yeah.
It's meant to look like you're wealthy and healthy and all of that. Did you know that a couple of 100 years ago, the whiter you were, the more respected and the more wealthy you were thought to be? Because the only people that had tans were people working outside in the fields, labourers, builders, that kind of thing. So therefore, if you look like one of them, it had the total opposite meaning. So I think there's always going to be...
You wanted to look pale.
Yeah, the paler you were, you think about
It'll
like
go
in the
round.
Elizabethan times, like
They
they were.
used to, yeah. It's
white up.
cyclical though. Everything goes round.
I agree, yeah.
Like how it was like trendy.
Eyebrows is cyclical, isn't it? Even I noticed that.
I can tell what era someone's
Yeah.
from by their eyebrows.
Some people have like the really skinny lines, but now it's quite fashionable to have quite
You
big
want
fuzzy
to-
ones, isn't
yeah,
it?
definitely. It's like a Cara Delevingne thing now.
Yeah, yeah.
But same with like bums. Big is in. Didn't you? When I was younger, all the things in More magazine, which is the only magazine I read, which now I look at it.
I
Was
don't
so
even know what
inappropriate.
More magazine was, but
It's not great actually for a teenager to read, but everything in there was like how to get rid of your bum. And
You were
now-
laughing then.
I know.
You must have been
no.
really, really on
But
trend.
now I'm like not on trend because now it's like you have to have one and I haven't got one.
Yeah, but trends aren't for this is another thing. This is not what we're talking about. But what's fashionable isn't right for everybody.
That's
And a lot of
definitely
people
true.
don't realise that. And the way people dress, because, it's fashionable, I should wear it. And you're thinking, you shouldn't.
The best example of that is those new proper skin tight leggings that people wear for active
With like a
wear.
matching top sort of thing. Yeah, I've seen them, yeah.
They're not for everyone.
No, they're really not, are they?
No, they're not for me.
They're not for, well, I mean, I might be able to rock it.
Yeah, I couldn't. But yeah, I think you're right about trends. But I think that's another thing. When you're younger, you care about what the trends are. When you're older, you feel more comfortable in your skin and you know what suits you.
I
so
quite
you don't
care
really...
about the trends.
That's because you're desperately trying to look young.
I don't think I am, though. I know I don't look young.
Yeah, but you're like trying to be like, look, I'm still
Here's the thing,
relevant.
right? Here's the
I
thing.
still
This is
know
another thing
what
that
the kids
this
wear.
could almost be what the kids wear. I know what the kids wear. But this could be another Room 101 thing. But I don't feel that when you get to a certain age, you have to stop caring about what you look like.
No, I don't.
When I used to do the school run, I'd see all the dads there. And do you know what they all wear on their feet? They're like a cross between a walking shoe and a trainer. They're awful. I don't know what brand they would be. Like, and every one of them. Once I took a little surreptitious photo. I was like that, a little video of their feet, and you couldn't tell them apart. Them and those little fleeces with like a zip that goes halfway
they all
down.
do have those.
Why'd you give up? Why'd you?
Is that giving up or is that
yeah.
comfort? I'd rather go for comfort.
Comfort when you're lounging around at home, but if you're going to be seen, don't get me wrong. I'm not putting on like a suit and a beret or something.
A beret?
I don't know why I came up.
Are we in front?
Why did I come up with a beret? A top hat.
I want you to wear a top hat.
Albert wants a top hat.
Oh, God. Every wedding we go to is like, am I allowed to wear a top hat?
So you look like a little magician or the bloke from Monopoly.
No.
But yeah, so I sort of feel like it is related to getting old. You don't have to stop caring about. I'm not talking about always, being dressed up.
But hold on a minute. Hold on a minute.
Oh, here we go.
So you say you don't have to stop caring, and yet you don't like the fact that lots of women have loads of surgery on their faces, but isn't it them not doing that, them stopping caring about what
That
they
doesn't
look
mean
like?
you don't care, because they look better before, in my opinion.
But they feel that to keep
Don't
current...
get me wrong. If anyone other than my wife who decided to have a facelift, I'd be full on supporting them. It's up to you what you do. But I love your face.
Support me
I
having
fell
a
in love with
facelift.
you because of this face.
My face has changed
Not
from
just
when you
the face.
fell in love with me.
I'll tell you what, it's changed a lot less than most people does over 13 years.
But it has changed, so I can make it look like
It won't look the same as it did. That doesn't happen. You've not seen Simon Cowell. It's bizarre. So yeah, I think there are good things. Can I give you another bad one? Mm-hmm. Right. I've spoken about this before, but I can't believe in any form of God, right, with men who stops their hair growing here, but makes it explode out of here, 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 and here. Right.
Just for those listening, he's pointing to his nose and
Oh, yeah,
ears.
good point, yeah. Yeah. So it grows out of my nostrils and my ear holes, and I have to get one of those little
Clipper thing.
thing to do that. And yet it stops growing out of my head. Why would you make that happen? What possible benefit to the human race could it be? Oh, I know, like cavemen. I know what I'll do so they can kill some more woolly mammoths. I'm going to make their hair fall out, but I'm going to make it come out of their ears. How does that help society?
Maybe it's like an evolution thing that, like...
What? I'm intrigued. Go on.
Like, you don't need to keep warm on the top of your head anymore because of global warming.
Oh, well, maybe not even global warming. Maybe because we're not generally living outside.
In a cave, but you do still need hair in your nose and ears to protect you from bacteria and bugs.
But you don't know that cavemen didn't go bald.
Yes, we do.
How? Hair is not a thing that
Pictures.
survived. Pictures that someone drew in the 1983.
No, like on the walls.
And it didn't show like some geezer like caveman Bill Bailey with a bald head and like struggling. They didn't go into that level of detail, did they?
I don't know, didn't they?
They weren't that, it wasn't like art school. It was sticks for bison on the side of a cave.
There was always a bison in those pictures.
But that's one thing that does wind me up.
Here's what I think you really like about being old.
What?
I think that you, now you're older, think that you can rant and moan about every single thing in the world. I watched Gone Fishing the other day on your insistence.
Greatest programme on television.
It's probably the worst, but I watched it anyway. And in it, basically, Bob Mortimer and Paul Whitehouse
Correct.
sit there whinging about everything, and all it sounded like was you. And I think that they do, they just sit there and whinge about everything. They just like moan about
They
everyone.
were observing on life of
They're just
for
grumpy,
men of a certain
and it
age.
sounded just like you. And so I think what happens is men get to a certain age and think they're allowed to be mean and grumpy about
Not mean.
everything.
I don't think I'm mean.
You're grumpy about
I
everything.
don't think I'm mean. Honestly, I don't. And I would.
You walk through Leicester Square, you get annoyed. There's someone with a backpack, you get annoyed. Someone touches you on a tube, like not in an
I'm all right with that.
inappropriate
You're
way.
the one that, if anyone. We went to flipping Benicassim Music Festival. Headline act was on The Killers. So excited. Mr. Brightside means a lot to us. Right, some great songs. 2 minutes in, you went. People are touching me.
Well, they were properly.
People
I
are
didn't
bashing
like
into me.
it.
Someone spilled a drink near me.
They did.
Yeah, you're kind of not grabbing the whole music festival ethos.
Well, then I found the VIP seats, and you wouldn't go.
Going in there, that's not why you go to a festival, is it? Anyway, yeah, things do annoy me, but I think that's okay, and I think that's my privilege as I get older.
That's
my,
what I mean.
My
you
right.
think it's your right as
It
you
is
get
my
older
right.
to be grumpy about everything.
If you live for a few years, you get a right. Not to be offensive or rude or mean or spiteful, but to be able to objectively say that, I don't know, people with giant rucksacks on trains are annoying. That's fair enough.
I saw someone the other day. I was on the train, and a guy had he's this 20-ish-year-old, had his feet with his shoes off, his feet on the other seat.
Oh, I'd have had to say something.
This old lady came over and had a massive go at him.
Brilliant. I'm all with her on that.
Yeah, you would have been like, yeah.
That's unhygienic, apart from anything else. But yeah, so I don't mind it getting old, apart from what you said at the beginning, that I know I'm...
Nearer to
Someone
death.
said that between 60 and 70 is Sniper's Alley. And what they mean by that is if you're going to get something, you're likely to get it there. If you get to 70, you're kind of all right for another 10, 15 years, I reckon. It's that 60 to 70
You're
is
going to
when...
be like terrified for 10
Well,
years.
I reckon I've dodged a bullet, because 52, I got my prostate cancer, didn't I? So I think I've had my sniper having a go at me.
Yeah, that's true.
I've dodged it.
So you reckon you'll be all right at 60 then? You don't need to worry about it?
I'm not worrying about 60 from a health point of view. I think I'm probably healthier now than I was 10 years
are.
ago, to be honest with you. I just, because when I think of 60 is when old starts.
Do you?
Apologies to my mates who are 60
When we were
plus.
younger, though, when we were kids, we thought that old started at 40.
Oh.
And then you get to 40 and you're like, what?
Remember when you had a teacher at school who you thought was really old, and they were probably like 30, and then you'd see him in the pub and they went, why, they're going to the pub, shouldn't they be at home watching songs of praise or something? And you're like, how can this happen?
And they're 30.
I know, but I think, 60 for me now.
I don't think 60 now is
Don't
old.
you?
Like, if you think of our friends, like Andy, who's over 60,
Yeah.
like, he's what 40 used to be. I think the world is different.
It is different, but it's very hard to change your perceptions and your feelings about certain things. So for me, it's more the number rather than how I'm actually feeling.
I just think that if at 55, which you will be in 2 days, you get invited to old things, that's like ticking a box that you are old.
Old things being what we talked about earlier,
You know, like you can go on a saga cruise.
not like the road has a party and they only invite people of an age.
I can come with you to the saga cruise.
No, I'd have a field day, wouldn't I?
Yeah.
Imagine that.
You'd love it, all those old ladies.
I know, that'd be all right.
You should
But yeah.
go on one.
Well, I'm going on a saga cruise on my own.
See what it's like.
I don't think that's going to happen.
So yeah, I don't want to get old.
I don't wanna
feel like
get
I'm
old.
aging now. Also, I don't like when you can see people who are older than you and you see the problems they're having. You're like, oh, especially as a woman, I can see people going through menopause stuff.
Yeah.
I'm like, I've got that coming and I don't really want it. I don't like seeing it.
I
don't
think
like
there's
knowing.
the unknown element to it. There's also another thing that's just popped into my head is that you think people are so young. Like, you know, people who always used
They
to
are,
say,
doctors
like,
are.
policemen.
No, they are. I went to the doctors the other day and the person that was my doctor was 12.
Yeah, see, this is the point. Obviously, they weren't.
They were...
But
15
I'm
at
not
most.
arguing with you, but I remember my dad saying he knew he was really old when he thought that politicians looked like they were just out of school. And I think I'm almost at that point now.
Yeah.
Obviously not in America, because they're all like
Also,
decrepit.
things get a bit confusing. So, like, the way that the kids speak, like the way that our kids speak, this whole Generation Z, Generation Alpha thing, I don't understand
No.
anything they're saying, and I always knew when I was younger that I would. I'd be like, I'm not going to be. My mum used to say stuff to me, like, I don't even understand what you're saying. I'm like, how does she not know this language? I'm never going to be like that. And now I don't understand
here
what
we
they're
are.
saying.
Yeah,
like,
here we are.
They just shout skibbity toilet out at random
They do.
times, and that's supposed to mean something.
But I think every generation has their slang like that. I feel that whilst there are downsides to it, I quite like being a bit more worldly wise and a bit more able to offer advice to people around me. Makes me feel quite good about myself.
The older I get, I suppose the one good thing, the older I get, the less I give a crap about what other people think about me.
I will second that 100%.
I think that you become comfortable in your own skin, and you no longer
That's
care.
definitely the best one, because sometimes our kids are like, oh, I can't do that. What will they think of me? I'm like, why do you care what they think of you?
Yeah.
And what will that actually do to affect you and how you are? And that is 100% true. I do not give a flying fig what people think about me.
Is that a new phrase?
Well, it is on this podcast, yeah.
We want to know what you think about getting older. Come to our group at Home with the Johnsons and let us know what you think are the best and worst things about ageing, so that we can all feel a bit better about it. You've been listening to At Home with the Johnsons.
Why not come and join the discussion at our Facebook group at Home with the Johnsons?
Go and check the link in the show notes.